What's up, everybody? Welcome to the TuVues podcast. Sorry we've been away from you guys from a while. We're glad to be back and glad to
Man,
be
it
in your
ain't been that
presence.
long.
It's been about 2 weeks, ain't it?
No, it's been a week. Man,
Goof
2 weeks
ass.
ain't that long, nigga.
Yeah, but
For
anyway, we happy to be back in y'all presence, man. It's a long time coming, man. Y'all know we love to get in front of y'all and give y'all a little inspiration and a little insight on a few topics. So we just glad to be in front of y'all today.
yeah, man. I'm just glad this weather warming up, man. Get outside and do some stuff, man. But Chicago be wilding, man. Wilding.
Yeah. You know how it is in Chicago when it warm up, man, but it's been 90 down here, bro. 90 like mid 90s.
Bro, we hit the eight like we hit 80. We hit 80 yesterday. Now it's raining and cold again. Like
Yeah,
gonna get
we
old.
raining all week. We raining
Yeah.
all week, but it ain't cold though. Hey man, I do want to take a quick moment, man, to shout out two things if you don't mind. The
Go
first
for it.
is Happy Teachers Appreciation Week to all of the educators out there. We I know as an educator that you guys don't get honor as much as you should for building up this next generation. And I know we see the news, we see YouTube, we see social media. It's been tough. This has been one of the toughest, I think, 5 years for educators, man. So I just want to say Happy Teacher Appreciation Week for all the educators, and just say we love what you do, we appreciate what you do. And next, man,
Wait,
and
wait,
that's
wait. Before you go to the next one though, I wanna just since you brought this up, I just wanna apologize to all my teachers from back in the day. I was a handful. I was a handful. So
yeah,
I
especially when you
apologize to all
find
y'all.
people up
Miss,
looking at your cookies.
we ain't gonna tell that story. One day we'll tell that story. Miss Glasscar, rest in peace. I love you. You was the greatest teacher to me ever. You know how to go.
Yeah, man, I love Miss Glass too. Rest in peace, man. But man, she had favorites, and you was her favorite. That's just
Hey,
get on my nerves. You was her favorite.
I could get away with murder, boy.
Get away with murder, man. As soon as I do something, Keith, get out. Hey, yeah, man. But we appreciate you. I could. There's no way I'm where I'm at without the educators, the tutors, and everybody's in my life that made that difference. And it was so cliche, but the truth is the truth, man. It's the great, in my opinion, the greatest profession in the world. So
It's hard, man. I ain't even a teacher.
yeah,
Nigga, just coaching football, knowing that y'all got to deal with those kids in the actual
yeah,
classroom. I'm straight.
yeah. And it's one of those jobs that it's hard not to take home. They say don't take it home, but you love those kids, man, and it's hard not to take situations, issues home from it. So we know the toll it takes on y'all physically, mentally, emotionally, and so we just want to say we appreciate everything y'all do for our kids.
Cool. You say
Next
that
thing,
another?
great. Yeah, it's great. This since we it's good because we talk about this a lot, and that our topic today is focusing a little bit on this. So, it is mental health awareness month. It is mental health awareness month, so we want to acknowledge that, man. Just make sure that everybody honors the issue that are going on with mental health, and that people who need support with their mental health, that we're here for you, that you seek out the help that you need near you. You can always hit us up on our TuVues email if you need some support in that area, some guidance. But it is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we just want to bring that awareness to you guys and just celebrate the successes and the growth people are having with their mental health. So
Yeah, and definitely, man, go back and watch that mental health episode. We are very vulnerable in it. It impacts a lot of people. So if you get a chance, go back and watch that mental health episode.
and you're talking about two people who literally who have issues with mental health. We have our various issues, and so we support you. We love you. We know it's difficult. We know it's still something that people are struggling to understand, and they still struggle to have some respect for the effect it has on people's lives. So just know you got two people here who want to walk that walk with you. So reach out to us, reach out to people that you love, reach out to people who are going through similar struggles or that can support you in your walk. So Mental Health Awareness Month, May. We just want to make sure that's out there and people are getting the support they need, especially
Yeah, man.
men.
Yeah, and one more. It's also, I believe, Asian Heritage Month too. Asian Pacific
Yes,
Island
it
Heritage
is.
Month. Shout out,
It
man.
is.
Samoa, Hawaii, the Japan, man. Shout out to our Asian people, our Polynesian people, our Pacific Islander people, man. This y'all month to be celebrated. We're gonna do that.
Yeah, and we talk about the United States being this salad bowl of cultures, and we want to make sure that we celebrate our culture and the variances thereof. So, yes, it is Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage
Heritage.
Month, and so we want to give y'all that honor and respect due as well.
Yay, yay.
Yes, sir. Let's jump into it.
Man, y'all
All
know what
right.
we do.
Yes,
Y'all
sir.
know, man. Keep going. Give me my intro. Give me my intro.
It is time for KFG's top five, 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 five. Remember Kale from?
Uh, that last part you could
You
hey,
remember
you could
Kale
have kept that last part.
from Keenan and Kale? Hey,
All
let's
right,
do
man.
KFG's top five, man.
Hey, man. Today's top five, man. Came off something I was thinking about today, man. I went and got something that had something. Well, I had this weekend. I was like, I just can't. I can't do it. Like it just ain't the same. So, man, today's top five gonna be, man, the top five items you cannot eat or have, not just eat. Top five things you gotta have that's original and not the generic version.
Yep, you need the
Non,
name
you
brand.
gotta have the name brand. You cannot like if you name brand just throw you off. Like you just can't do it. So that's our top five, man.
Mm.
Top five name brand items that you cannot have generic. You want to go
All right,
first?
so
Or want
you
me to
kicked
jump
it.
it off?
Yeah, I'll jump it off because you kicked it off last time, and I ain't got no honorable mentions today. But I'm gonna start off with one that people may think is crazy, man. Dawn dish detergent. I gotta have
Hey
Dawn
Don,
dish detergent.
hey Don, do his thing, boy. Cut through
Yeah,
grease like
yeah, I gotta have name brand Dawn dish detergent. I'm
man.
sorry,
Nah, I don't know if I agree with that
just
one though.
just growing up, man, being having the non name brand, man, it'd be watery, man. But that Dawn, man, you can cut through grease like something
Boy,
crazy. My next one is the one you
man.
brought up today on social media, man. The popsicle brand bomb pops. There is no substitute. There's no substitute for the popsicle brand bomb pops. I don't
I'm
care. I
just
don't care where else you get
yeah.
it from, but there's no difference. No difference. My next one is my next two are food items, and I think you're gonna have these two on your list. Maybe not. Oatmeal pies is my number three. You gotta have Little Debbie oatmeal
Bro,
pies, and my
you
number
know that's
two
on my list.
is and my number two is Little Debbie Nutty Bars.
You already
You
know
cannot
them
have
on
a
my list.
generic. I knew you had those two on your list. Those are two items
Bro.
I cannot have generic. I have to have name brand oatmeal pies and name brand nutty bars. So my number one, and Miss Johnson put me on this, man, and I never knew the difference until I started experiencing it. Clorox bleach. I can't have generic bleach when I'm washing. It has to be Clorox.
Yeah,
I
I don't know
have to have
about
Clorox.
that.
Uh,
That's
hey,
that's on number one.
that's my number one. Challenge me on it. I
Nah,
want you to go get
yeah,
some
I
generic
do.
bleach,
Number one, bro.
wash your whites, get some generic bleach, wash your whites, and then next time you wash your whites again, get a bottle of Clorox, and you'll see why I say that.
First of
It's
all,
a
I'm put you
difference,
up on.
man.
First of all, I'm put you up on game. You shouldn't be using bleach on your clothes no more anyway, bro.
Hey, but I do. But
The,
if you gotta use bleach to wash or clean, I'm telling you, man, Clorox bleach is the truth. So that's my three. So five,
bro, that's your
five, you
one.
got Dawn dish detergent. Four, you got Bomb Pops. Three, you got oatmeal pies. Two, you got Nutty Bars. My one is Clorox bleach. There you have it.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. That one, whatever. But I didn't think I had an honorable mention, man. But I do have an honorable mention. It's on here. I thought I had five, but I actually got six on here. So my sixth one gonna be an honorable mention. My honorable mention, man, is Captain Crunch. I can't have generic Captain Crunch. I can't have Aldi brand Captain Crunch.
Yeah. You
Ain't
like
gonna work
King
for me.
Vitamin? That's the same thing.
No, that's
King
different.
Vitamin is the same.
You grew up in the hood eating that though.
Man.
Well, we grew up in the hood eating everything generic. Now that I think
Right, you
about it,
know what I'm saying?
but yeah, man, I can't. But I personally can't, especially if it's a all brands. Oops, all berries can't do it. Oops, all berries has to be Captain Crunch. Oops, all berries, bro. Can't be nothing else. You see how passionate I am about Oops, all berries? Like I'm passionate about Oops, all berries.
I see.
So man, we're gonna go to my number five. My number five is Nutty Bars. Like he said, ain't no way you can leave boy, them Aldi brands Nutty Bars so bogus. They so bogus. It's like the total flavor pattern is all. I ain't gonna get deep into it. My number 4 is peanut butter. I cannot have all brand peanut butter. I gotta have
Man, you
Jif.
crazy.
I gotta have Mom like you Jif. Jif. I gotta have Jif, bro. I cannot have all brand peanut butter, man. It's
Bro, I
smoother.
love if I can get Jiffy, if I can get Jif, I'll get Jif. But man, I'll take that Kroger all these peanut butter any day,
No,
bro.
no, I
Man,
gotta have
okay.
name brand peanut butter, bro. Gotta have name brand peanut butter. So what was that? My 3? My number 2. Hold on.
So
So I
you
said
probably only have
Nutty
five.
Bar. No, so I'm on my third. I'm on 3. I'm on 3, right? Number 3, Twizzlers. I cannot eat
Man,
off-brand Twizzlers.
I can't eat Twizzlers, period, unless it's the pull
I,
apart ones.
I don't eat them that often, man. But like, I cannot eat an off-brand Twizzler, bro. Like, that's one thing. Like, I would never buy off-brand. If I buy it, I would never off-brand. Round number 1, you already said on yours too, man. Oatmeal pies, man. Like, same thing. All these, man, y'all tried, but it's a
Y'all
fail.
tried.
It's a
Y'all
fail,
tried,
man.
man, but Lil
It's a
Debbie
fail.
killing them.
Killer. And hey, let me talk to y'all about something real quick. And little Debbie got double decker oatmeal pies.
Why you get so happy, bro? Why you get so
Double
happy, bro?
deckers.
He said, "Let me put y'all." He's
Bro, it's so good. Have you had the? But they also got the nutty bars that's bigger too,
none.
bro.
You in the
They got
matrix?
double decker oatmeal pies, bro.
Hey, bro, you with
So,
Malcolm X? So you said,
bro, they so good, man. All right, and my number 1's on your list too, man. And my number 1's bomb pops, bro. Man, you
"Yeah,
got to have the original bomb pop. Though,
the
like this
original."
weekend, my problem is with cheap popsicles in general is, and you might know, y'all. I think all y'all know what I'm talking about. It's like you got to get a layer of ice off of it before you get to the flavor. Like
Mhm.
the first licks of the popsicle, it's like you don't get no flavor off the first licks. You
Yeah.
have to rub off like this layer of ice before you get to the actual flavor. But bomb pops
Nope. Straight to the
off the
flavor on my mom.
jump, flavor right
And,
off
and they
the
got
bat.
and they got different ones, bro. If it puts your game, they got the crush version. They
Bro, they got
got
Hawaiian
warhead
punch ones,
version,
bro.
Hawaiian punch. Man,
Got
y'all
Hawaiian punch in the
sleep.
freezer.
Popsicle brand bun
It,
pops.
and it literally says, no, no, not popsicle brand. No, this is not popsicle brand.
Ain't it?
These one are
Yeah.
they popsicle? All I know it says on the box, it says the original bomb pop. It has to say the original bomb pop.
It does have to say that, but I thought that was popsicle brand. Maybe I'm
It
wrong
might be
though.
pop because I think I bought popsicle this weekend. That's what I didn't like. But all I know, the one that said original bomb pop on it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what you want. And you come to my party with some popsicles, you don't have the originals, and you have something that look like it, I'm gonna punch you on your nose. I'm passionate about bomb pops, bro. Oh, that's my top 5, man. I got
That's a decent list.
Nutty Bars, peanut butter, Twizzlers, oatmeal pies, bomb pops.
Man, try out that Clorox, man. I'm telling you, it's a difference,
That ain't
bro. It's a
one though.
difference,
Like,
Brody.
I get what you're
That's
saying, but
bro. It's a
one,
difference, bro. It's
mm,
it's a difference, bro. And
I'm
if you
surprised you got that
washing out
over.
and if
Good.
you washing out some dishes with that got grease, man, if you ain't using Dawn, okay,
That's a
bub,
Dawn's a good one, but I can use other dish
bub.
detergent though. I can use, but Dawn
Nah,
is the truth.
Pat.
That's all I buy is Dawn. Buy is Dawn, but I can use other dish detergent. But I don't see how you'd have like Nutty Bars higher than Clorox or oatmeal pies higher than
Nah,
Clorox, bro.
they was until I thought about it, man. I was like, man, that
Bro, they
Clorox,
got double
the
decker,
truth.
bro. They have you ate a double decker oatmeal pie, bro?
They got double decker fudge rounds too.
Bro, and we sound fat.
You sound hungry, dude. Hey man, let's
Oh man. All right, man. That's go over your top 5 again. What you have?
So I had five Dawn dish detergent, four Bomb Pops, three Oma Pies, two Nutty Bars, three Clorox bleach.
Yeah. Cool, man. Hey, check it out, everybody, man. We got a new segment, man. We finna add a new segment. You got to take KFG's top five. But you know what, man? We said we're gonna give Dr. Davis his own segment too, man. So new segment, Dr. Davis's dad jokes. Dr. Davis's dad jokes. Let's see what he
Let's
got
get
for us,
it.
man. Let's see what he got
All
for us,
right,
man. Let's see how
I got
if
one
this
for you.
good or
I
dumb.
got one for you. All right. Check it out though, man. This turtle was crossing the street, bro.
See, you already
Got
saw it on
me
bogus.
mopped.
Hey, you already started on bogus.
Hold on, man. This turtle was
Okay.
crossing the street, man. He got me mopped, jumped by two snails, bro. Two snails jumped him. So the police rolled up on him and said, "Hey, what happened?" The turtle was like shaking up. He was scared. He said, "I don't know it. It all happened too fast." Got it.
Hey, that was stupid. Bro, that was so stupid. Hey, that was so
hey,
stupid, bro.
hey, bro.
Bro, that's
Hey,
so
bro.
stupid.
Hey, bro. I got another one for you. Hold on, man.
Come on.
Hold on.
Okay, hit it with another
This
man.
one,
Go
this one
ahead.
even
Go ahead.
stupider, man. Here go another one. So the police rolled up on his car, right?
see,
It-
see, you and this police, bro.
he rolled up on his car, man, and it was this bottle of water driving, right? So the police arrested the bottle of water. You want to know why?
Why?
Guess why, bro? Because it was
Why?
wanted in three different states: solid, liquid, and gas. Hey, bro. Hey, bro. Hey, I'm done, man. I'm done, man.
He's the dumbest.
Hey, I'm done,
He's
man.
the,
I'm here all
bro,
day. I'm here. I'm here
bro,
all day.
these the dumbest jokes.
Hey, man, they was out there wilding, man. They was arresting everybody, man. You know how
Bro.
the Illinois State Police.
Hey, bro. Bro.
I
Hey, this
quit,
probably gonna
man.
be a good segment, bro. This gonna
Hey,
be an
man, I
interesting
got more
segment,
for you, but
bro.
I'm gonna say the rest for later.
Oh man. He said that happened too fast.
He was shaking up. He had to shaking.
Oh man, I'm done. I'm done, man. I can't even finish the show. I'm done, bro. I'm done. All right, man. How we gonna get to this show now, man? We
I
gonna try to be
don't know,
serious,
man.
man. Gotta be
We gotta
serious.
be serious again, bro. It's your fault. You came up with this segment.
Oh man, that might have to go first.
Oh man! All right, today, man, I'll jump us off, man. So today
Oh
we're
man.
talking about our focus today is going to be on why men's emotion and why men struggle to show emotion. Why is that a why do we battle emotion and why do we struggle to be emotional beings? We just want to, and I think a lot of this is going to speak to a lot of the mental health piece that we talking about, and that's why that I think this was a good month that we decided to talk about this. So we want to focus on mental health, and I'm gonna let Kev G jump us off with some focus on us men and emotion. And I think though this is about men, I think this will help men and women understand the difficulties, the stress, the the cultural and societal pressure on men, which causes us to be to lack emotion in some areas.
Yeah. And it's so important because being men and going through certain situations and growing up in certain environments, certain areas, and being taught certain things, um, we understand how men think and we understand what men go through and how they process things and why sometimes showing emotion is kind of difficult for us, right? We know we've been in situations where we had to make decisions on whether to show emotion or be tough. So it's good that we have this podcast or this episode to explain and let people know why and why in two facets, like why we do it and why we should break that cycle when it comes to showing our emotions. Do you want to start culturally? Talk about how our culture worked, and I don't even know if it's a cultural. You might think differently. I don't know if it's truly a cultural thing, and I get why we say cultural. Because if we go back, we always go back in history. We always pull out the history thing, um, but if you literally would go back to slave time, and you talk about how men were treated. I mean, women were treated horribly, like so horrible, but how men were demasculated back in slave times, how we couldn't show emotion, we couldn't show aggression, we couldn't do a
Hmm.
lot of things. We were pretty much muzzled when it came to those things by slave owners and people like that. So it created this what we tend to now label as thick skin. We label it
Hmm.
as we gotta show this vibrato, this stature of, especially back in those days when we were getting whipped and beat, we didn't want our kids to see us crying or anguish, or we tried to fight it and we tried to be tough for our families in those situations. So this tough, and the reason why I say I don't think is it ain't just, it is culturally, but it's further than culture, because I don't think we are only men that
Hmm.
had, because this men thing is more than just our
Hmm.
culture. It's most men in the world battle this stigma of having to be something different. And even we talk about I talk about protecting, providing, professing, even that has a connotation of toughness or lacking emotion, if you look at it that way. We have to be a certain way, a certain vision, certain picture. So I don't know how you feel about the whole cultural aspect, but that's my synopsis of what I feel like the cultural part is, and why we are or have been emotionally detached, should I say.
So I think you're right. I think you're right when you get on the basis of not saying that it may not be cultural, but it is. It's like a because what I think cultural is a layer of it. I think it all starts with the expectations of masculinity, and the patriarchal society, and the expectations for men in that element. And then you pile on top of it the cultural piece, right? You talked about how how men, or they say these expectations for men for that came down culturally. And so I just think it's different levels to it. There's different pieces to the pie. But I think it started with what the outlook of what masculinity is, what it means to protect, provide, profess, what it means to be a hunter and gatherer, right? I think that's where it starts. I think those are the concepts. I think this notion that men always have to be strong. But I think there are cultural situations that exacerbated that further for specific groups. But I think it's just a dynamic of a patriarchal, masculine society.
And so we dive deeper into this whole masculine society thing. We talked about knights and we talked about chivalry and things like that, and that stems to that facet and that aspect of this discussion. Why why is it that why is it that masculinity truly turned to that facet of not showing emotion though? So we saying that's where it stemmed from, or that's where it takes its layer from. But what about masculinity? Um, what's the foundation of masculinity that causes this lack of emotion? Like what's our foundation or 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 purpose? Some people say the reason why our foundation purpose is control. Like for instance, um, we want to lead or and you know how I feel about leading. I think a man should lead. I'm not saying that women can't. They should have the opportunity for sure. But a man, I feel like, in my opinion, and not all men are leaders, right? Everybody leading their own way. But the foundation of masculinity was in a sense of control and want to run everything. And if you show any emotion or affection or any type of emotion towards anybody, it devalued your power, right? It would devalue people's power if they show any type of emotion to an individual. In like, you know how many wars was fought over men showing emotion to women, right? How many wars? So how these emotions could trigger so many things in so many people, and I feel like men we learn to suppress it, and it's been very damaging to us as men. It's been very damaging, and it's been hard to break the cycle. It's been hard to get women to get us open up. Um, and I don't, I know my ways and methods to do so, and I hope we definitely gonna get into deeper into what that is. But what do you think? What do you think the foundation is for that? I know what I think the foundation is, which is control. But what do you think the foundation is this masculinity that caused us to suppress this thing?
You know, I'm not gonna say cause us to suppress. I think there's elements that there are several elements that cause suppression of various emotion, and I'll talk about it in a second. But I think we go back further than that. I think we go back to something that you always say: protect. Right. The concept of protecting the family, the tribe, the group has always been something that's been foundationally been that has landed on men. But I think we as men have, and I ain't gonna say men. I think we as a society and culture, we as a people, as humans, took that as the major element of manhood. Right. That's why men had certain rites of passage. That's why they had to complete certain tasks to become considered a man. And most of those tasks were grueling, emotionless tasks, right? Dealing with physical output. And that became the basis of societal norms for men. Even think about wartime. Even if you think about the ancient Spartans, the grueling thing uh, every man had to go through to serve in their military. But it's this concept of protect becoming the foundation of manhood. I think is where it starts because that became absorbed as the only piece of manhood, and it pulls away from the man's ability to want to nurture. And I just think there's the time to, and you got to think about when you go into war. And I'm gonna say this because I think this is the concept that America dealt with when they tried to integrate the military with gender wise. And some people have the argument that you always have the emotions to protect a woman, and that's why you shouldn't integrate the army. I think that's a foolish argument. Now you look back on it. Um, but I think this need to go into a war emotionless. The only emotion to have is anger, rage, and there's no need for fear. There's no need for sadness. There's no need for remorse. Is to go in and be berserk. I think became the foundations of a lot of cultures. I think men had to be the protectors, and that pulled out the nurturing piece from men. But I do want to say I can't blame that all on men. I think if you think about this, Kevin, I want you to just start naming off emotions.
Happy,
Just name them.
sad, scared, angry, excited.
All right, stop. Name each one of those that you just named that society accepts a man having. I can answer it for you. It's only one.
Happy.
Men are only never ridiculed for the emotion of happiness. There's always something wrong with a man being sad, he's soft. Being angry, he's enraged. The only one that's ever acceptable for us as a man is happiness. That's a societal trait. That's a societal belief. And so if I'm not allowed to show any other emotion without that emotion being judged, why would I? So that's why I'm happy about this podcast, because in order to get men to open up and be emotion, show emotion, it has to be accepted. Not every time I'm upset, I'm enraged or angry. I'm not enraged. Like anger, a man being upset is tend to be generalized as rage and anger. No, I'm just upset. And why can't I be? Why don't I have a right to be upset? So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I can blame society and culture, the cultural basis of um the man being the protector and the leader and the warrior, to create this foundation where that is the crux of who we are. But I also think society doesn't allow us to show emotion. I think the only one that is acceptable is happiness.
Yeah, so we can jump into like the society part and the environmental and social aspect of it, because I think that's what we're going with right now, environmentally, when it comes to when it comes to emotion, you know our environment, you know how what we're
Mhm.
surrounded with,
Yep.
and how we were raised, um, and 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 I thought about this when we came up with the topic. Like, I agree. The only time an emotion in our environment, when I think about that was really accepted, was when we were as kids running around playing and happy.
Happy. Mhm.
Um, but our environment and what it was, and the effects of being impoverished, the effects of being not having much, and having to go work for everything and or fight for everything. I don't think it gave us time to have emotions. And what I mean by that is the focus was so much on trying to get things done, trying to um, present a certain way, trying to be a part of the in crowd. It had nothing to do with emotion. It had to
Mhm.
do with look. It had to do with everything physical, nothing internal,
Yeah.
nothing on the inside. So our environment, the way we were raised, and you can throw in the crazy thing about it that people say that people join gangs, they want to feel loved by somebody and wanted by a group of people, and I tend to push back on that because I don't know how much love you can get for somebody telling you go rob somebody or kill somebody. I don't know how that's love, but people, you see their love and go get in their own way. But we were surrounded by gangs. We were surrounded by poverty. We were surrounded by
Mhm.
everything that would tell your emotion. Everything that's opposite of those positive emotions. Everything we were involved in and part of was opposite of positive emotion. Why would we be happy in that situation? Even though I felt like we was
Mhm.
pretty joyous kids. Why would we be happy being in the hood? Why would we be happy being surrounded by gangs and the house getting shot up? Why would we be happy in any of those instances? Like we would have to
Right.
be tough. We would have to carry ourselves a certain way to make sure people knew that we want people to mess with, or like, you know what I mean? That's how we were. That's how that area and that culture was, and that was our environment, and we accepted that environment. I mean, like I tell people, I want to take my childhood back, but there's some parts of my
Mhm.
childhood where I see issues. I see where things broke down, and that's one of them. Like the lack of emotion and showing it. You know me, I'm the evil twin. At least that's what I call myself or called myself. Um, and uh, you wouldn't see me happy too often. I purposely wanted to have that stigma, that angry stigma. in that presentation, but that was the environment.
And you grow up in an environment and situations where it wasn't okay for you to cry, right? It was, and I found myself saying the same stuff that I was told when I was a kid. That ain't no reason to cry. Fix your face, wipe your face off, right? And there was no opportunity to understand why I was crying, and nobody tried to understand it. And so why cry, right? Why be sad? It's just another day. We became so hardened to it, but we became so hardened to it that it came out in our adulthood. It's gonna come back out one way or another. It's gonna come back out. This is that mental health piece. It's going to come back out eventually, and it's going to come out in a way that you don't want it to, right? And so it's growing up in a culture where you had to be. I keep saying culture, but in a environment, in a society, in a time period where you had to be rock solid. You had to be unflinching. You had to be unmovable. And I think we're kind of still there. I think we're trying to break the mold, but I think men are still expected to be the the crutch, to be the wall you lean on. We're expected to be the wall, um, to hold everything up. But the question I have for everybody: who's holding us up?
Yeah,
You know,
good question.
it, at some point in time, we need to be held up, and we got to be able to be able to let go, and we have to be able to expel that. We have to be able to show. And I don't know about you, I don't like bringing up past relationships because it's still fresh, but there I've been in several, probably thousands of instances where my emotion was seen as another emotion that it was never intended to be. Right? It was never intended to be anger. I just want to show you that I'm hurt or that upset me,
Yeah,
but it's always visualized as an anger. It's not an anger. And I think that's why some of us shy away from showing any other emotion but happiness. We'd rather be rock solid and walk away from it
or
than to be
positive emotion,
ridiculed,
right?
a positive emotion, instead of being ridiculed or attacked or judged. We'd rather walk away from it and put up a wall.
Yeah,
It's just. I just hope society watches this and people watch this, and it's a cliche, but we we have feelings too. It's
yeah,
okay for us to feel as well,
yeah. And on the
right?
social, like you brought up the social side when you brought up relationship, I consider that social. Um, you brought so on the social side, this whole emotions thing. I'm gonna talk about me real quick, just real quick. Anybody that knows me knows I wear my heart on my sleeve. Like I care about people. Um, and I'm gonna talk growing up and through high school. Like I didn't have a true girlfriend until later on, at the back end of my high school career, like senior year. But there were people like you care for and you like and you have this 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 draw to, right, and that you really want to talk to. But I didn't want to show emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Like anybody that knew me in high school, like I didn't really show emotion. I was this tough football player, this tough athlete. I didn't really want to show emotion because I feel like I had a persona to protect, right? And and
Mm-hmm.
and showing my emotion to a female would mess up that persona. It will mess up that visual who I this thing I created for myself. And let me say that again. I created for myself. Um, but our social environments also affect our emotions, our
Hmm.
care for
Correct.
the way we do things. So even our friend groups, just depend on your friend groups, you don't show too much, especially if we were athletes. Like we didn't really show each other love unless we won a game, right? Like it
Hmm.
wasn't like that, or we never spoke of emotion, unless we were fighting or something like that. When it comes to females, like I said, it depends on the person, like who, what the persona you want to keep, and like and what how your emotions feel that way. But if you show that emotion to a female back in those days, like you said, you were considered as weak. Like, look at him,
Yeah.
he's soft. Look, right. And so for me, I didn't want that persona. I had something to keep up. Um, so your surround the people you surround around yourself with, the atmosphere you put yourself in can also affect your emotions, can also affect your decision to show one or the other. And the thing about it is that once you get stuck on one, if whether that's anger or toughness or whatever you want to call, once you get stuck on an emotion, it's hard to break it. But what you learn is that emotion wasn't that feeling wasn't derived at that moment. This is a thing that is rooted. Like some of these things are rooted. It's not. It didn't just happen overnight. These failure of emotions didn't happen overnight, and it pours over into your social life. It pours into your into your the way you speak to your friends or your mate or anybody, because you have this rooted issue when it comes to your emotion and not want to be vulnerable. um and I when I look back on my past, I see it a lot, a lot.
Hmm.
And till this day I show some signs of it, right? And I'm trying to break it, but till this day I show signs of it.
And I also want to say, since you talked about like your past, is that I would equate that to a lot of our fights. I would equate a lot of our inability or want to show our emotions equated to a lot of the fights. I mean, if y'all know anything about me and Kevin last fight was in college. We fought all the way up until junior year of college. We had physical
Was it,
fights.
yeah,
Yeah, it was
something like
sophomore.
that.
It had to be junior year. We had physical fights all the way up until junior year of college. And I think part of that was our inability to show emotion. I think we held stuff in. We just man, if y'all know all the stuff me and Kevin fought with and hit each other with, man,
Bro.
we could have killed each other. Uh, but I think that inability or that inability, not only inability, but that inability to show emotion, and that not being exposed to how to show emotion, um, and that lack of acceptance of emotion played the part of how it released at home for us. I'm just gonna it played a integral part in how that was released at home, because we were brutal to each other, and then we just go to sleep. Um
Mm.
but I think it all plays a part. But I don't know if this is jumping the gun, but I want to talk to specifically to men about how we can break this cycle, if you don't mind. How to break this
Go for it,
cycle
bro.
of not
Be-
wanting to show emotion. But go ahead.
But before you jump to it, yeah, I do think we need to jump into it. But I want to say also, it's all about how you interpretate other people's emotions too. Like we feel like
Hmm.
that. We feel like interpreting emotions. So we'll probably get into that a little deeper here in a second.
But we fail at interpreting because you know what else? We know what we fell at first before the interpretation. Listening. We fell at listening first, right? That's the major thing. We fell at listening, so our interpretation is typically wrong when somebody shows the emotion. But I just want to talk to men, if you don't mind, and then talk to how others can assist with this breaking this cycle. This, I call it a curse. And I think as men, I'm gonna talk to the fathers first, especially. I mean, first of all, we got to come out of it before we can bring our create that first generation of it. I want to say to every man out there, it's okay to cry, right? But it's okay to be angry. Don't let nobody tell you it's not okay to be angry. It's not okay to be upset. It's not okay to be frustrated. Those are legit emotions that you should be allowed to have. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't. Now, how you express that emotion, how you grow from that emotion, how that emotion is impactful when you getting the help or healing that you need for whatever you're going through is different. But it's okay. It's okay to say, I'm hurting right now. That may feel little to you, that feel menial to you, but that hurt me.
Yeah.
And it's okay to say that hurt me enough for me to shed a tear. It is not soft to cry. And it's hard being vulnerable because we live in we have been raised to say that that's not okay, that you have to be tough and rock solid. But man, that emotion is an element of release, right? It's an element of beginning to bridge a way through whatever that is, right? We can't be hard rock solid and happy all the time. We're gonna be hurt. I got some information today that hurt. And for me to sit by and say that it didn't, or just say, no, I'm just gonna tough it out, I'm cheating myself. Don't cheat yourself from healing. Because if you can't address the emotion, you're cheating yourself from your ability to begin the healing process. And you shouldn't let anybody take that away from you.
No, I agree. I was just thinking about something, and it goes back to what we were talking about earlier with environment and social, but on the same topic, what you're saying is, you know, I would include everybody in my immediate family, but especially the boys.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't start telling each other we love each other until what? Early 30s, maybe, if that.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna do you one better. I didn't tell mom, even though she knew we loved. I didn't tell mama I loved her till I was 25. Let's just be honest.
What's crazy is that we suppress those emotions, how we feel about our own siblings, because of wanting to show a different picture. Even though we always say we ain't got to see it, they know. Like we feel like the
Exactly. That was
person
our
already know.
saying.
They
There was a
are they already
saying. That
know,
was
right?
yeah, yeah.
But it's something about hearing it, right? It's something about hearing it,
Mm-hmm.
especially from people that call themselves tough and or I mean present themselves as tough and all that. Just say, you know what, bro, I love you. Get home safe. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's a different feeling, but like he was saying though, it's okay for us to have these emotions. It's okay for us to cry. It's okay for us to be happy and be excited and want more for ourselves and be angry, and it's okay for to show the whole gambit of emotion. Jesus was angry, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
he got angry. So it's not a sin to show these emotions. The emotions are facets of who we are as people. And I feel like when we have the lack of showing emotion, we have the lack of this understanding of emotion, we separate ourselves from people, and that's the worst thing we can do, because we are called to be people. We're called to unite with people and connect with people on different levels. And how can we do that if there's no emotional connection in any way?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I think men, we lack that emotional connection, and we wonder why it's so hard for us to connect with our spouse or connect with a mate or connect
Mm-hmm.
with our kids, right? Because we don't have this emotion, uh, these emotional connections been severed. And I mean, just not
Yeah.
once, but it's been severed so many times
Mm-hmm.
that trying to connect the pieces back is like a jigsaw puzzle, right? And it's a thousand piece jigsaw puzzle. But guess what, man? We got to
Mm-hmm.
put those pieces back together. We
Gotta
have
put them
to, and it's a
back.
slow process. It can come through therapy or whatever, but we have to put those pieces back together because that's the only way. and I'm just say this. I don't want to make it sound a certain way. You know how much the world would be if men showed emotion. If men didn't carry around the stigma and the attitude and the we gotta be rah rah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think
Be
the
less
world could be
wars.
so much better. Be so much better, man. If we didn't think we couldn't show emotion, or the only emotion we could show is the emotion of hatred and anger. Um, and not just saying, not trying to devalue women at all, but I just feel like Troy, the war of Troy, you know, the Greek war, the Trojan War. All right.
Mm-hmm.
What if old boy just said, "No, what? She left me. It is what it is." Right? Why do you have to go from 0 to 100 on her leaving him and start the entire war between two countries? Matter of fact, it was more than two countries, right?
Yeah.
Um, we just let our
And
we hold our emotions so back so bad that when they come out, it becomes a flood. It becomes an overwhelming tsunami, and it just it's bad for us. Go ahead.
but I'm glad you brought up Troy because it brings up another thing. Do you know how many people who are wars have been fought, people who have been killed, relationships have been destroyed, families have been destroyed over the principle? It's the principle of it. That he didn't care. He didn't love her, Helen, right? It was the principle that it was his wife. It was his wife, his trophy. His brother Agamemnon, they had nothing to do with it. It was just his brother. Oh, we gotta holler at them because it's the principle of it. How many relationships, families, cultures have been destroyed for the principle of it? Off an emotion that is just the principle of it. It's we have to get to a point to where we as men can acknowledge when we're going from 0 to 10. And Kevin always say I go to 0 to 10. I've been doing
You
much
do.
better. Been doing much better. But we have to acknowledge that that is a flaw, right? It's a major flaw that is due to the inability to go through emotional stages. We don't have the up until I got in there, until I started working on myself, that I knew that there's emotional stages. Right there's a cycle, there's emotional stages, or some people there's emotional cycle, right? There's an emotional cycle. And until we can embrace that that's there and say, hey, I'm gonna go from grief to anger to what have you, and just like and understand that that's where I'm at in the cycle, then we'll continue to have these issues. So we just we want men out there to embrace that, and then once we can embrace that, we can embrace the emotion and the emotional cycle, then we can prepare the next generation for that same process. And what we got to do with the next generation, especially with our young men, is is it has to be okay to show we as men have to show our boys that it's okay to be emotional. And the way you do that and still hold your daddy toughness card is conversation about
Mm-hmm.
the reason your son is having that emotion. Son, why are you crying? Tell me what's going on. Talk through the situation. But one thing I started stop doing is saying, now was that a reason to cry? Stop. They say, son, why are you crying? All right, let's talk about it. What's going on? This, talk them through it. Help them get through it. Thanks, Dad. Love you. Go. But we always got to be like, now was that what you should cry? Fix your face. There ain't a reason to cry. Nah, let him cry. Talk him through the situation, because the next time a situation similar to that happens, he may not cry because he knows how to navigate that situation. Teach our kids, if we teach our kids how to navigate their emotions, if we as men teach our boys how to navigate their emotions, then they'll be more emotionally stable as men. But what we teach our boys is to be emotionally compressed. We have to stop that. We have to
Yeah.
teach them how to navigate it, not compress it. And until we get to that point, we're gonna have this generational cycle of tough man.
Yeah, I agree. Me and you are like on two different sides of the cycle. Like you go 0 to 10, but I'm the opposite side of the cycle. Like I don't go 0 to 10 fast, but when I get to 10, it's an explosion, right?
Oh no, we
It
similar
becomes
then.
no key. You go boom boom, you boom boom.
No,
I'm like
right.
I'm like
I
okay,
don't
okay.
I don't have I don't have a zero. I don't have a 1 through 9. But you got to do a lot. But once you push that zero to that, it's gonna explode to 10. But I'm
And
working on it. I've been doing much better at it. Better at it.
and what on the topic of the kids and not just kids but in general, this isn't truly an emotion, but it is an emotion. Um, or it causes it an emotion. It's okay to say you're sorry. I feel like our
Mm-hmm.
previous generations and current generations, we don't want to say we're sorry when we're wrong, but saying
Mm-hmm.
you're sorry sparks emotion, right?
Yeah.
It is emotion to me. It isn't is it's an emotion from you to the other person to admit that you're sorry. It's compassion, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's so if especially if you're a kid, if like for Caleb instance, if I yell at Caleb for something and he just get irate and start crying, and man, I had no reason to yell at Caleb. Like no true reason to yell at him, but just I need to get him focused on what he need to do or do what he's supposed to do. I go to my son like, no, buddy, I'm sorry. Daddy should not have done that.
Yeah.
Like I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done that, buddy. I'm sorry. I don't want you to cry. I'm sorry for making you cry. Like I show that like I'm wrong, right? To show that you're wrong, to show that compassion, we got to be able to do that. Um, but I want to jump to another thing real quick though, if you're okay with it,
Sure.
and I want to talk about women.
Mm-hmm.
In this aspect of when it comes to the aspect of men showing emotion.
That's where I was going next anyway.
So every I'm gonna say everywhere, most relationships that I hear that have problems or some type of issue is directly a connect with a woman wanting a man to show emotion, or he's he's on the angry side, he's showing too much negative emotion. It's always, and besides cheating, it's a whole another facet, but a major issue in relationship is emotion. And I agree with women on this concept that men got to be better at showing emotion, but I do want to say women need to also learn the other side of it, where the emotions coming from, right? But this is one thing I want to say before I let you jump take this over
Mm-hmm.
is that I really need women when to ask. I really need women, not all women, some women, when they ask a man to show emotion, and then the man shows emotion, ridiculing that man for showing emotion. It happens more often than people think. It happens so often. I want you to be more this, but as soon as they do, they get, oh, he's crying like you crying like you. They become weak. They become this whole different person because now we create this vulnerability with you, and you don't like it. Not all women, because there are absolutely some great women that accept it, and when you're open up to them like that, there's so many great women like that. But there is women that don't, and it's a problem. I think that's part of the problem too. Hate me if you want for saying it, but I personally think that's part of the problem.
I'm gonna go back just a little bit on the same kind of concept, but I think if I can give women a tip on if you want to elicit your man to be more vulnerable with you and be more emotional with you, ask him that. Ask him for that emotionless or without emotion.
Mm, mm.
Because I can tell
Yeah.
you, you can't ask me to be more vulnerable yelling at me, judging me, questioning me. you're gonna get more you're gonna have a better chance of having me be more vulnerable and show emotion by saying, "Hey, babe, I need more from you. I need to know how you feel. I need to." You're gonna get more from saying, "You'll never show me how you feel." You're gonna get more from me by saying, and that's what it goes back to. The foundation and the crux of this issue with emotion and relationships has to do with the the inability to effectively communicate, inability to communicate and listen, right? Because when I am vulnerable, I'm judged, or when I am vulnerable, I'm not being listened to because I'm not aggressive. I'm not yelling. I'm crying. It's like, oh, communication, and man, you're not getting away from this as well.
Absolutely
Communication
not.
is the major problem for issues in relationships, but especially when it becomes to the inability to show emotion in a relationship. Because the first thing I'm gonna do when I'm not alive, and this is me, it may not be you, Kev, but the first thing I'm gonna do if I show emotion and I'm not feel like I'm not being listened to or being heard, I'm gonna shut down.
Absolutely.
You'll never get that from me again. That you'll never get that opportunity from me again, because you're showing me you don't value my feelings or my emotion. And
You
if you're
know,
not going to value your feelings or emotions, I'm not going to give them to you. These
my
are mine.
main word is for that though. My
Mm-hmm.
my word I use, never mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Never mind.
Ladies, I am giving you something that is mine, right? That emotion, that release, that feeling is mine. That's mine. I own that, right? I'm giving it to you so that you know where I feel, what's going on inside me, so we can work through it. But why would I give that if it's not received or it's ridiculed, right? Like, why would I give you? It's like, why would I give you this gift and you're gonna say, "Oh, that shirt ugly"? Why would I keep? Why would I keep buying you a shirt? Right? Like, why would I? Why would I buy you um some ruby earrings? You say, "I want. I wish they were. I wish they were diamond." Why would I buy you any earrings? Right? So the feeling and emotion that I have is mine, that I get to express, that I get to deal with. But I need to share that with you so you know how I feel and where I'm coming from. But if you're not willing to receive that, and I'm telling you, the one thing that bothers me to my core, and we all need to stop doing this, but is if I'm sharing with you, hey, this is how I feel about what you just did. The response should never be, but, but you did this, but you did that. It should always be something on the lines of, I understand why that bothered you, or okay, I'm listening, I understand. Then when it's your turn, you can say, this is how I felt. But if you want to start an argument, get a man to show you their feelings, and respond with, but
Yep, because it lets us know that you weren't listening.
you weren't
I think
listening.
I think when everybody, whenever somebody says "but," they're not listening to what you said.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They're already preparing the
Preparing the answer.
rebuttal.
Yep, preparing the rebuttal.
Yep. And so that gets very aggravating for men. It gets very aggravating to where we gonna leave or shut down, or you'll
Immediately.
never want to give that emotion again because we don't feel heard.
And then we get
So,
criticized by
but
that.
about that, but me and we also can do the same thing. For a
Agreed.
lot of times,
Agreed.
but a lot of times that is it's all about communication and listening. If you want a man to give you more of the emotional side of them and let you know how they feel and how that we can rectify whatever's going on because you feel this way and I feel this way, let's come to some median. Show them that you're listening. Show them that you're listening.
And on top of that, though, also, when we give you our emotions, we're not equipping you with a weapon. It's not a
Oh,
weapon.
hey, you preach it now.
It's not a weapon. Right? A lot of people, when you get shown emotion, they quick to just use it against you. I'm not giving you
Weaponize, yeah.
a knife or a sword to stab me with. What I like,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what happened. Once you stab me once with that knife, I'm not weaponizing you again. I'm not gonna
Right.
open up to you again. You cut me once. It's like a kid,
Because
like you give a pair of scissors and they cut themselves and you can't give them another. Next day you give them another pair of scissors. Like what I look like?
because if I'm sharing with you an emotion I have about one situation, it's not cookie cutter. It doesn't necessarily fit the next situation. So, like Kevin said, don't weaponize. But you said that, no, we're talking about a whole new situation,
Whole new
whole different
situation.
circumstance, whole different issue. And my reaction, my feelings towards this situation may be completely different, even though it may seem like a similar situation. My feelings may be different in this situation because we've healed that emotional piece in that last situation. But now we're going backwards because you're weaponizing it.
100% agree.
Yeah. So we just men have to be given the opportunity to be emotional and be vulnerable without judgment, without attack, without
And we can't crit
ridicule.
and we can't criticize women when they're like that's nothing we do on our side. When women show emotion,
Mm-hmm.
we criticize their emotion, right? But we criticize their emotion because we lack it. That's why I
Yep.
think since we lack it, we don't understand it. And so I want women to understand that too. Sometimes if a man is criticizing their emotion, maybe or he's not showing it, maybe because he lacks it. Maybe he lacks the ability to show it. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
there's a deeper rooted issue, and that's what we got to understand. It, but we can't use a woman's emotion like she always emotional about this. She must be on her. You know, we got to
Mm-hmm.
stop.
Yeah.
If we don't
Because
want it
we're ill
weaponized,
equipped. Right.
if we can't if we don't want it weaponized on us, then we shouldn't weaponize it on
Yeah.
women either. Right? It should
And
be
men,
some fairness in it.
understand this, men. We are the worst listeners. So
No,
I'm
I'm
talking
pretty
about
good.
I'm talking about so I'm talking about I know I just talked about women not listening and you know be able men, we are the worst listeners because we don't listen to conversation, we don't listen to feelings, but you know what else we don't listen to, Kev? Ourselves. We don't listen to what we need mentally. We don't listen to what we need physically. We are the worst listeners. So start if you want to be listened to, start by listening to yourself. When you need to show emotion, show it in a productive way. All right.
Yeah,
If it's anger, go punch it, go to the gym, punch a gym bag, boxing bag, you know. But if you have an emotion, feel free to show it. Listen to yourself. Yourself needs to get that out. Just like if you physically listen to your body, we will go get more of the physical checkups we need to do as men. We are bad listeners, and that's one thing we need to fix as well. If we want to become beings, become emotional beings that feel heard, that feel loved, that feel. I'm gonna say this. I just came to my mind though. We are the protectors, but you know the number one thing we want to make this work, we need our emotions protected. We need to feel like if I'm going to show this, it's going to be protected, right? That it's going to be heard and protected. Like I need you to protect my feelings too. And if we don't feel that way, we're going to protect them ourselves. You know, it's just this is our nature.
absolutely. I agree. Absolutely. So man, it's simple. Well, it's not simple. If you don't know how to show your emotions, it's deeper than what you think.
Hmm.
Be comfortable with showing your emotion. Don't weaponize emotion, but don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to speak it and show it.
Hmm.
That vulnerability doesn't mean you're weak.
Yes.
Doesn't mean you're weak. It means you
It actually shows more strength.
recognize. Yeah, you recognize where there can be some more development. Doesn't mean you're weak. Open yourself up allows people to see the real you. Because if you don't open up and show emotions, you're not really showing the real you. That's not
Yeah.
you. This facade you put on, that's not you.
And then women give the opportunity for men to show emotion, and then just don't weapon, just listen and don't weaponize it. And I guarantee you have to say catch more bees with honey. And I guarantee you, I mean, in that communication, that listening, man, yeah, man, relationships can thrive, man. If it's that open to where emotionally a man is able to share that without any drawback.
Well, I was just thinking about this saying you just said. I know we're finna close this up, but is that saying really true? Do you catch bees with honey?
Bro, you just thought about that?
Oh no, man. I think about you want me to watch that Winnie the Pooh movie.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, oh that's the worst movie in America. We need
mm.
to prove blood and honey. Worst movie in America.
Yeah,
It's not
man.
really
So this is
America,
our
but
podcast on emotions, man. Our top five, our new segment, the Dr. Davis dad joke. Boy, that was stupid. Man. So know how we is, man. Protect our emotions, man. Love people. Don't be afraid to show them, man. It's okay, fellas. It's okay.
yeah.
It's
And if
it's
you
okay.
need us, email us.
You can't call nobody.
Yeah, we great people to vent to, man.
Yeah, we listen.
But we listen. So we great people to vent to. We want to support y'all or whatever emotional help y'all need. Once again, this is a mental health awareness month. Like we said before, we're advocates of therapy. We're advocates of
Absolutely.
whatever necessary to help you get your mental health in order, whether that's therapy, medication, treatment, inpatient centers, outpatient centers, whatever you need to do to get you a mental solid ground. We're in support of. If you need help finding those places, we can support you in that process. But let's just make sure we're taking care of ourselves, all right, because if we can't take care of ourselves, we can't take care of nobody else.
Yeah, love yourself, man. Love yourself and love others. You don't know how it is. Heart posture. Protect your peace. PYP. Two
That's
views.
right. That's right.
It's your boy KFG. It's your boy Dr. Davis, and we are the Two Views Podcast. We up out of
We
here.
out.